Billie, thanks for coming on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the show last night. I went to see you. It was the first time I've seen you play.
Thank you. Yeah, it was wild.
Well, I tell you what I liked about it, and I'm going to get a little nerdy here.
Go ahead.
But I really love sing-alongs. Like, I grew up with...
Dude, my shows are just karaoke night, for real.
I grew up with a family that we used to just get guitars out and we would just sing songs together. And when all of like my extended family, all my aunts and uncles would come over, we'd all sing songs together. And then when I went to shows, people just kind of stood there with their arms crossed and listened to people emote. Your shows are just sing-alongs.
I'm telling you. I basically could just not show up and the show could go on.
You could do a hologram.
You could. I could. It's weird. Like, I've done shows where I had like laryngitis or like I just didn't have a voice at all and nobody knows because they're singing it for me. They don't even hear me.
When did you... I know a lot of musicians who say that was a turning point in their life when they were on stage and someone started singing back their lyrics to them for the first time. Do you remember the first time that happened to you?
Well, okay, so when was this? This was like 2016 in like the summer, I believe, or something. I don't even remember. It was a while ago.
Yeah.
Before any of this, really. Like, we had Bellyache and like Ocean Eyes and 6 Feet Under out. There was like this festival called Crossed, and I was supposed to play at like 12 p.m.
Right. Where's this in California?
In like San Diego or something.
Right.
And I remember like I believe there was 8 people standing on the grass. It was like, it could have been like thousands, but it was like 8 people because I was nobody. And I remember like 2 girls were only singing the lines of the chorus to Ocean Eyes, nothing else. But I had never experienced anything like that, and I almost cried from 2 girls singing only the chorus from one song from my whole set out of 8 people on a big, huge field. So then I remember after that thinking like, wow, I wonder what it would be like to like have a whole crowd singing along. Like, that'll never happen. And then somehow shit happened, man. I think the first time it really like happened was my first headlining show in London. Me and my brother just cried. Like, we just like heard everybody singing all the lyrics and we just like cried. It was crazy. It was such a moment.
Because there's an implicit like empathy there. It's like when they sing, because these are, I don't want to, this is the first time you're hearing Billie's music. These are personal songs. These are sad songs sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think when one person sings, 2 people in a field, I understand why 2 people in a field singing it back to you meant something to you. Because if there's 2 people going, yeah, I get it. I also feel this way. And then for like whatever it was last night, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500 people to sing it back to you, it just amplifies that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I played Music Midtown in Atlanta like a month ago, and that was like 40,000 people singing my songs. What?
Yeah.
What? Like, what? It's crazy.
I think what I like you're using a steel straw.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, that is
Save
cool.
the planet, man.
You're goddamn right. I think what I got out of last night was not just that it was a big sing-along, but that the distinction between performer and fan is kind of blurred with you. Am I right about that?
Mm-hmm. I try as hard as I can to like not be anything more than they are. Like, we're all equal. Like that. I talk about it all the time. I don't like the idea of a paid meet and greet even. Because that puts me on a different level. And like it automatically does, and I don't want to be on a different level. I know it's like, I understand it kind of has to be that way at this point, but it's like, there's, when I show up to a venue like early in the day and there's like hundreds and hundreds or thousands of kids waiting outside, like that have been waiting there overnight or since the morning or whatever, like they're all like, it's weird. It's weird because they're all like my age. They're all kids that I would be friends with.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was in New York for Fashion Week, and I did this like interview with like an audience kind of, and it was just like them basically. And it was weird because it was almost like I went to go hang out with my friends in a room, but instead of hanging out with them, I just sat across the room from them and got interviewed. And I was sitting there thinking like, this is wrong.
Why are you talking to me?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be just hanging out.
Yeah. Like, but that's it's like a beautiful thing because I go to my shows and it's just like, oh yes, I get to see my friends again. You know, I get to like have a moment with them and connect with them, and like, I don't know, I just want it to be an experience. I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm going to see a show. I want it to be like, I'm in the show. Like I don't know, I'm part of it or whatever.
I'll tell you this. I hear a lot of artists say stuff like that to me. They'll be like, man, me and my fans, we're all as one. We're not, I'm not singing
Everybody
to them.
says that. Nobody means it.
I have yet to experience it. I want to be clear about this, that I was texting our producer Mitch last night during the show just going, this is just a big sing-along. I have actually never seen the distinction between fan and performer blurred as much as I did. And that goes creatively too. Like one of your videos, if not your most recent video, that came from a drawing by a fan, like another person, right?
It did.
What's the story there?
I was in, I don't know where it was. Apparently, the girl who drew that drawing said it was in Montreal, but I literally don't even remember where I was given that drawing. I just remember
Someone handed it to you?
like a security guard, somebody that somebody had given to somebody, and it was somehow got to me. It was meant for me, but somehow got to me. I don't know why I'm saying somehow so many times.
That's all right. We're going to cut him out.
It got to me, and it was just this drawing, just a drawing of me, and my eyes were black, and they were like leaking black ink or whatever. And I just immediately, my brain just was like, as my brain does when I see anything almost. But especially with that one, and I just like, I remember like telling everybody on my team exactly the idea I had. I came up with like a whole video idea. Like I wanted to be wearing this, and I wanted to look like this, and I want to, da 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 da. And that was from a fan drawing. Like, and since then, I've actually been given multiple drawings by them that have spurred other ideas. And like from now on, I think I'm just gonna like make sure to give as much credit as I can, because I literally owe that whole video to that girl that drew that picture. And
Have you heard from her?
she just DM'd me like, and was like, "That's my drawing."
When did she DM you?
A couple days ago.
Oh, yeah?
She did, and I was like, dude. I think I just said thank you. I was just like, thank you for this drawing. Like, because people don't realize, like, your art makes art, Like, it just, it can hit people, and you don't know when or where or who or how. But, if you don't ever put it out there, then nobody can be hit by it, and then nobody can be, nobody can create something out of it. And I think it's, like, important to just get it out there because there's going to be somebody that gets something from it, Even if everybody hates what you're doing, if one person likes it, you're creating art in that person's brain.
Well, if those two people in a field too,
If those two people in a field of 8 people likes my song, I'm good.
Who do you look to for guidance in these things? I don't mean necessarily advice, like someone you can call, but is there someone whose career you look at and go, I'm going to take a little bit of that? Like, that seems like a nice way to do things.
Sheesh.
I only ask because nothing seems like an accident.
Really?
You like in that you seem like you know exactly what you want to do, and I know
For
that
sure.
that often comes with looking at what mistakes other people have made, and also
That's the main thing. That's kind of the only thing, because there isn't really a career that I necessarily want that I've seen. Also because you can't. There's no way to know what to do when you get this kind of thing. Like you can't be prepared for this. You don't know how to deal with it. It's impossible to know at all. And I feel like everybody who's gotten to have this kind of experience that I'm going through right now is like just trying to figure it out for themselves and see what works best for them, and it's different for everybody. But thing is that I grew up in a time where like the internet was so there, and now it's even more, but like even growing up, it was like, I remember watching like, celebrities like meanest moments or like scandals. And like, I remember seeing all these things that artists would do that people hated. So I grew up knowing what not to do kind of, or what to do, or what people are going to react with.
like what? Give me an example of something.
I mean,
if you can.
I mean, the thing is that there's a lot of, it's weird because people will take anything you do and turn it negative no matter what.
Yeah.
But like I just grew up watching like shadiest diva moments, or like why people are problematic, which is just like ridiculous that anybody feels entitled to say that about someone they don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you can put yourself in that mindset ever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think I've learned more from people doing from bad things than the good, you know. But I have no idea what I'm doing. I just know what I want, and I'm trying to get there in the best way as I can, I guess.
I don't mean to ask you the old guy wearing a cardigan question here. Like, I don't mean to get out my cane and be like, well, but you have to deal with social media in a way that people who were 16, maybe just before you, didn't have to deal with it, like the last generation of artists.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think about people in high school and what they had to deal with that I didn't have to deal with.
Yeah.
How do you find it? How do you find trying to balance a social media presence where it feels like you have to give so much of yourself, you're required to give so much of yourself?
It's a weird thing, dude. Like, I grew up around it, so it's more normal to me than I think it is for people that grew up in a different generation. But I don't know. I think what's cooler to me is when people are more mysterious. You know, you don't go out to a party and see Frank Ocean there.
I was just about to say Frank Ocean. Yeah.
You know, you don't look at Instagram and Frank Ocean's like live streaming and talking about his day.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that I used to think were really dope because they were like really mystique and kind of mysterious, like then they started being super. They just shared everything, and don't. You know, I think people feel like they have to share everything.
But how do you have that connection with the fans that we were just talking about earlier? Like, is there a balance there?
There has to be.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to. I mean, I kind of wish I was more mystique anyway, but growing up, it's like it's hard not to share everything because everybody else is sharing everything. And there are so many things that like nobody knows about my life at all. Like, you know, obviously people think they know you no matter what if you have an online presence. Or if you're in the public eye at all, people think they know you even if you don't have an online presence. But, you know, there are like thousands of things that nobody knows at all about me that I keep to myself because not everything needs to be known by everybody. But I don't know. I just think the artists that have been the most interesting and like impressive to me have been the people that just kind of keep to themselves but still are as artistic as they are. Mm. But it is like I really try to have a connection with all of the accounts, and like I don't like calling them fans because that's not what they are. They're just like my people, you know. Mm-hmm. They're like I don't even know what to call them. Yeah. They're just my people,
whatever,
my
sure.
family, whatever.
These are just words we put on things. I get it.
Yeah. But I don't know. I try to like DM them as much as possible and comment on their stuff and like all their posts and like, cause they're the reason I'm here. Like they lift me up, you know. See, they'll go after people that say some bad stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm nervous.
Just be careful. Yeah. Just don't pronounce my name wrong because they will get on you for that.
People say Irish?
They say Elish, Ailish.
I heard an Elish one today.
Eilish.
I saw Elish in an interview today and I went, oh my God, am I wrong? And then I had to look it up.
Everybody's wrong. But I never even say anything. When somebody says my name wrong, I'm just like, because I know fans will go in on them, man.
But by the way, I'm mysterious is what I say when I just don't get invited to parties and I go, no, it's not that I didn't get invited. I'm just Frank Ocean. I feel like you've been really generous talking about your relationship with social media and all that stuff. And I feel like you get asked about that a lot.
Social media's ass. It's trash, man.
It's what?
It's ass.
But I feel like it's also good for you.
Social media?
Instagram is social media. Reddit is social media. Like,
dude, the internet is the worst. I mean, like, the internet made me at this place, so it's like I'm thankful for that, but it's like, dude, that place is poison.
Yeah.
Poison. Nobody does anything real anymore, man. And I'm even guilty of it. Like,
do you mean that when people do things, they do it and make sure they get a picture of themselves while they're doing it?
If there's no picture, it didn't happen.
Right, that's why I'm on the radio.
I'm telling you.
So you're not crazy about it. That's interesting to me.
I'm not.
You get that it's interesting to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's really impressive. Like, good for you. You created this website where you can do all this stuff and say whatever you want about anybody at any time ever. But I don't care. I don't want to hear about it.
Fame freaks you out a little bit?
Bro, of course it does. That shit is terrifying. But I'm going to die one day, so it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
What doesn't?
Everything. Nothing matters. Dude, like, that's like what I say about everything. Like,
I think some stuff matters.
Nothing matters.
Love matters.
It matters while you're there, but eventually you're dying, and then nothing matters, and whatever. Like,
But meaning is what you create. We're not going to get into a Nietzschean argument here, but all we can do is try to create the meaning that we have in front of us.
no, you're right.
Yeah.
I just think something that makes me just, I don't know, makes me feel, I don't know if it makes me feel better or just like warmer or it just keeps me up is,
Yeah.
which is a weird thing.
I know what you mean. It is a comforting thought.
The fact that I'm going to die one day
Yeah.
and that everyone around me is going to die and no one will remember me after a certain point makes me feel so good. Like, because I could do the best thing in the world and nobody would remember it ever and I'll die and it won't matter and everyone else around me will die and it won't matter. Or I could do the worst thing in the world and that won't matter because I'll die eventually. So you don't really have to worry that much.
That's
Obviously,
beautiful.
don't hurt anybody. Don't like
But
harm
that's
yourself.
yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
nice to hear. I think more people need to think that way.
I think about it all the time.
That's like the remedy to anxiety, you know?
Yeah. Die
How about,
one day.
anyway, so I was going to say, people ask about social media a lot. How about musically? Like, I feel like really, really interesting musically to me. Like, where do you want to
I
go?
thought you meant the app. Oh my god.
What's
Go
musically
on.
the app?
Doesn't matter. Not even gonna start.
Is this one of those things where you throw the birds?
He said what?
I'm joking.
Throw the birds.
You know, the birds app.
Angry Birds from
Yeah.
like 2009.
Yeah. I was trying to do a joke. Did the joke not work?
He was trying to do a joke. No, you're good.
Thanks, bud. That's what the internet's going to come after me for that right now. And how dare he talk about Angry Birds? to
Oh,
Billie
man.
Eilish. Where do you want to go musically? I feel like every song is a little bit different for you, and I feel like every song is pushing it a little bit further.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you look musically?
I kind of have this thing, at least right now, where my like mental is like I just want to make exactly what I want to make when I want to make it, which sounds really broad and weird, but like let's say tomorrow I wanted to make a song that sounded like blank, or the next day I wanted to make a song that sounded like something else. Like I don't ever want to fit into a box.
But like what? I'm
Ever,
curious
ever,
as to what you're listening to that's inspiring you.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Dude, I love music, man. I listen to
can tell.
so much. Like it's weird because I meet people that like only like certain kinds or
Yeah.
like they just can't vibe with other stuff, and I can't even imagine that. Like there's so many different kinds of music. I love hip hop. I grew up on it.
Yeah.
I love alternative. I love like R&B and like all these, but I don't even like calling them genres because if it's a good song, it's a good song. Like I don't know why you got to put it.
Oh no, I'm not talking
Anything
about
or-
that. I just when I went to the show last night, all I could think was, this is really. I guess. Okay, sorry. All I could think was, this is a cool sing along, and I'm enjoying myself, and I'm older than everybody else. But the thing that I really thought was, this is really stunning music. This is really well played music. This is in tune singing. This is
you.
high level musicianship. This is a really interesting chord progressions.
Thanks.
Yeah, but I want to know. I want to know who inspires you musically. Is that a boring question?
I mean, I just don't know how to answer it, dude. Cause I'm like, you're really asking me questions and like actually want to know the real answers instead of like what I've been trained to answer with.
What have you been trained to answer with?
No, just like what I've gotten good with repeating. You know,
There's
I
a
get
certain
just
interview pattern, right?
a certain question, and then I just am like, oh, I'm gonna answer it with that answer that I've answered like 400 million times. But
How
I
does
like
it-
that you actually want to know what I actually
How
think.
does it feel to be 16 and all that kind of
yeah,
stuff?
all that stuff.
Okay.
I have all those answers memorized. Don't even worry about it.
Let's get rid of that and give me like a couple of artists that you love.
Right now,
Yeah.
I have gotten a lot of inspiration from Moses Sumney
Mm-hmm.
and Smino
Mm-hmm.
and LaKaylee 47 and Tierra Whack. And growing up, it was like Tyler, the Creator, and like the Beatles.
The
And,
Beatles?
Yeah, Avril Lavigne and My Chemical Romance.
Avril Lavigne, Canadian, by the way.
Is she? Oh yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's she from? She from Smithers or something? Napanee,
Smithers.
Ontario. Do you like
Yeah.
Avril Lavigne?
I dude, complicated. Fire. I'm with you. Fire. Skater Boy. Fire.
Yeah.
Like I just grew up on so many different things, like Green Day. My Chemical Romance, and I had all the phases, you know. Like, and then I was like The Strokes and Red Hot Chili Peppers and Arctic Monkeys, and then it was like Tyler and Earl Sweatshirt and Odd Future and Childish Gambino and Waka Flocka, and then Chief Keef, you know, some weird stuff. But it's like that's what I'm saying is it ranges. Like I got so much of my inspiration overall in my life from the Beatles and how they wrote music and
Yeah.
like just their way of writing. I don't know.
I think something changed when Napster came around. So like I was 13 when Napster came around. You know about Napster?
No.
So Napster was the first way we could download music. The first time you didn't have to buy CDs.
Napster.
Yeah. So it was this program where you could I could type in the Beatles and like the Beatles Norwegian Wood, and I'd be able to press it and it would download, right?
Did you have to buy it?
No, it was it was pirated. It was pirated music.
Dope.
It was before the guys who invested in Facebook, that was their first entity. And it like disrupted the music industry. Up until then, it was only, right? It was up until then, it was only CDs, tapes, vinyl, right? And I remember like 10 years on going, this is going to change everything because I don't need to go into a store and look under a genre anymore.
Yeah.
I don't need to look under. I like country music a lot and I like folk music a lot. So I would just kind of go right to if you couldn't tell. So I would just go to the folk music section and be like, oh, bluegrass music. Okay, right on. This is what I like.
Yeah.
And I said, man, I can't imagine what it's going to be like to come up at a time where genre really means nothing. And what I'm really getting is this is what this is.
Wow. Actually hearing that, like, it makes me really grateful for like growing up in this time.
Yeah.
Because I hate the idea of genres. I hate it so much, dude. Like, that makes me want to die, that Napster. No, I mean, like, the not Napster. Like, before Napster is what I'm saying. Napster.
There was something cool about it because I think that you were so excited to have a piece of music that you would listen to it a lot because you couldn't get anything at any time you wanted. So that was interesting. So I think you're like a product of the post-genre world we're living in.
I mean, SoundCloud really changed it for me because SoundCloud is like anyone can upload, so it's not like an artist really.
Yeah.
Like, because that's really where I got into music, like not just what's popular or who's popular, you know. I would just like, I've always been like since like 2014, I think I've just like, I just dive into SoundCloud and find stuff that has like 200 plays, you know, that nobody even has liked yet. But there's some really cool stuff because you don't have to pay, or you didn't have to pay, and you didn't have to like be an artist really. You didn't have to do anything really. You could just make your stuff and upload it. Boom.
You've been really gracious. Thanks a lot for talking to me.
Of course.
I want to close off with a question, and you might already have an answer to this, but I hope not. I hope like you get an opportunity to like do this sometimes, to go like, wow.
What is that?
So this is like oh yeah, wow, right. This is an old-fashioned, old-timey camera.
Oh.
So how about this?
Do you want me to take a picture of stuff?
Yeah, that's what I want you to do. No, I wonder if you get the chance to take a mental snapshot of how amazing things are. Like all these amazing things you're doing. So I was hoping you could give me. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Like you do.
I mean,
not to say that you're not grateful, but like, holy shit, I'm on stage in front of all these people.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So can you give me one or two moments from the past year or two that stand out to you?
Music Midtown. Insane.
That was the New York thing.
That was in Atlanta.
That was in Atlanta, 40,000 people in Atlanta. Yeah.
All just like hype as hell, just jumping around. Like that's all. I cannot have a show where people aren't moving. Like I can't stand it. It makes me want to scream. Atlanta, Midtown. Gov Ball was really cool.
Governor's Ball.
That was kind of like the first of the festivals this year. The first like, wow, people actually care about me. This is insane. And I really just had a moment. I was just in shock. Like I can't. There are some moments where I just can't even breathe because it's so like unbelievable what I'm looking at, you know? I don't know. There's been so many moments. I don't know if I could really pinpoint as many as I want.
Yeah, it's nice to hear. I mean, there are people who are your age in the music industry who it seems all very
care.
And it seems very normal to them. Of course, this is happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of course, of course. There's this many people out because I'm
not of course at all for me.
Yeah,
dude, at Gov Ball.
Yeah.
Why it was so amazing was because I was backstage and the whole morning I was like, nobody is gonna show up at all. Because that's what I expect. I don't know why at this point that's what I expect, but it is.
Yeah, no, I think we all do that.
Yeah, and like I showed up and they were like, dude, it's crazy. I am so grateful for those kids, man. Like just the shows, like it's crazy.
Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.